So, I've been doing a little experiment over the last few days. I sent out a feedback form to people from all different parts of my life, and I've asked them 5 fairly simple questions. Number 1, one word describes my personality? Number 2, what value do you associate with me? Number 3, what skill or talent comes to mind when you think of me? Number 4, how would you describe me to somebody who's never met me before? And finally, what's one thing I could do more of to improve my relationship with you? And do you know what? As of this morning, I've had 62 responses plus a couple of lovely WhatsApp messages, and honestly, I've been blown away. Not just by the number of people who took the time to do it, but by how incredibly lovely the responses have been. And there's been a few tears along the way, I have to admit. So I thought I would share some of what I've learned, because I think there were some really interesting lessons in all of this, in this for all of us. And the first thing that I've discovered is that apparently I'm bubbly. I've never seen the word bubbly written so many times in one spreadsheet in my life. Other words that came up were warm, kind, genuine, friendly, caring, adventurous, cheerful, authentic. And actually, when I started looking beyond the individual words, there was one incredibly consistent picture of me. People talked about me being somebody who makes people feel comfortable, safe, welcomed, heard, understood, valued. And that was probably one of the things that touched me the most, because it made me realise that people don't necessarily remember what you look like or what you were wearing or what job you had or what you were doing. They remember how you made them feel. And that really connected with some of the personal development work that I've done over the years. When I went through the brand incubator experience that then became the UCU process and that I trained in, one of the things that was identified as my purpose was, I'm Caroline and I fully acknowledge others with care and love so that they know that they are seen for their own perfect beauty. And here I am with 62 people independently telling me things like, you really listen. You make people feel at ease. You're non-judgmental. You make everyone feel valued. You hold a caring space for people. And I thought, okay, maybe there's something to this. But the second thing that really surprised me was the skills that people identified. I expected photography. I expected technology. I expected spreadsheets, because apparently I can't escape those. Spreadsheet queen. But I noticed something else coming through again and again. Teacher, educator, mentor, communicator. Someone who can explain complicated things simply. Someone who helps people understand. And that has actually made me stop and actually think quite seriously about what I do. Because I tend to think of myself as a coach. That's what I tend to do day to day, but perhaps that's not quite the whole picture. Maybe one of my natural gifts is actually teaching people things, helping them make sense of complexity and giving them a different perspective so that they can work things out for themselves. And that's definitely something I'm going to explore further. But probably the biggest lesson for me has been actually about self-awareness. So I'm someone who spent a lot of time doing personal development work over the years, looking inward, understanding my values, understanding my personality, and understanding what makes me tick. And I've always thought that self-awareness was essentially about knowing who you are at your core. But I've realised there's actually another really important part to that. That's only one side to the story. The other side is understanding how other people experience you, and then looking at whether those two things match. And actually that was one of the most reassuring things about this whole exercise, because I got responses from family, from old friends, people I've worked with, people I've met through business, people I've cruised with, personal growth communities, people who've only ever met with me and interact with me online. And across all of those, the picture was remarkably consistent. I'm not apparently one person to my family, another person to my business contacts, and another person when I'm off on a road trip. There's actually a huge amount of congruence between who I think I am and how other people experience me to be. And do you know what? That's really reassuring. But there was one area where the feedback was very, very clear. And that was the advice that you beautiful people have given me. I got things like, trust yourself, Know your worth. Don't underestimate yourself. Be yourself more. Stop hiding. Get your stuff out into the world. You are enough. See yourself as the people around you do. And when I put all of those comments together, I realised something. The feedback isn't really saying, Caroline, you need to become a better version of yourself. It's saying, Caroline, we already see these wonderful things in you. You just need to trust them. And I think that's probably my biggest personal takeaway from all of this, that my growth edge isn't necessarily about acquiring more skills. It's about truthfully owning the person that apparently everyone else sees. And then there was another thing that really surprised me. Some of the people who responded are people I haven't spoken to in years. Some of them I've known for 10, 20 years, even since I was born. But some of them I haven't seen since completely different chapters of my life. And yet still they remember me. Some have even been quietly following what I've been doing all these years. And that really touched me. Because I think we massively underestimate the impact that we can have on other people. We don't always know which are the conversations that actually matter. We don't know which little tiny moment someone else remembers. We don't know who we've made feel seen or valued or encouraged. And sometimes we don't find out until years later. So I think that's another lesson that I'm taking away from this. Don't underestimate the impact that you have on people. And that's actually why I'd recommend doing this exercise yourself. Not necessarily the same form I created, but ask people who know you from different parts of your life. Ask your family, ask old friends, ask colleagues, ask clients, ask people you've met through online communities, offline communities. Gather the data together and then look for patterns. Don't get hung up on one person's opinion. I struggled with that with the first few responses, looking at every bit in detail. Step back and look at the things that keep appearing across everybody. Because 10, 15, 20 people independently telling you the same thing, maybe it's time to believe them. And actually, all of this has connected some of the dots for me around Naked Lobsters as well. Because the whole idea behind Naked Lobsters, which is the mission that I'm driving at the moment, is about what happens when life cracks our shell open. Maybe it's a career ending, a relationship ending, losing somebody, becoming a parent, not becoming a parent, moving somewhere new, a health crisis, or just simply waking up one morning and thinking, hang on, this doesn't feel like me anymore. And underneath that hard outer shell is the slightly squishy, vulnerable, truly authentic version of ourselves, the bit that's perhaps been hidden for a very long time behind this hard outer shell. And the work I'm passionate about doing is helping people discover who that person really is, the one underneath, the squishy one. And then to build a life, a shell that actually fits them, feels comfortable and is congruent from the inside out. And I've realised this week that I've been doing that work on myself for years. This exercise has just given me another perspective. I've looked at myself from the inside for a very long time. But this time I looked at myself through the eyes of other people. And what I've discovered, which is beautiful and so gratifying, is that actually there's a lot of congruence between the two for me, which is pretty bloody lovely. So thank you to every single one of you who took the time to fill out the form. Send me a WhatsApp or tell me something lovely about myself. You've given me far more than data. You've given me another mirror. And apparently I'm bubbly. And I'm going to try very, very hard. No, not try. I'm going to start to believe you and listen and take on board everything you told me. So thank you. Go be you. You're the best person for the job. Bye for now.